Moscow has an exceptional number of theaters, museums, and galleries. It is one of the largest cities in the world. Tens of thousands of people are coming to the city in search of the good life. The capital, built on 7 hills, is one of the most attractive cities to migrate to for work. Its streets tell the incredible stories about people that follow their passion. This is Malaya Nikitskaya Street. Our office is situated here. Today's program presents Kazakh musician Yerik Shalabayev, oboist and soloist of 2 musical ensembles under the leadership of outstanding musician Yury Abramovich Bashmet, the Novaya Rossiya State Symphony Orchestra, and Moscow Soloists Chamber Orchestra. We are at the Moscow State House of Broadcasting and Sound Recording. In the first studio, we are rehearsing with the orchestra of the Novaya Rossiya State Symphony. In the 5th studio, we are rehearsing with the large symphony orchestra. This is the office of our artistic director, Yury Abramovich. Here are the photos of our orchestra. Even people who know a little about the world of classical music, they know the name of the world-famous Russian conductor, violinist and violist, Yury Bashmet. He is considered to be the world's best viola player of the modern age. Our compatriot, Yerik Shalabayev, is working under his leadership. Yury Abramovich Bashmet leads the orchestra since 2002. Our wonderful soloist, Yerik Shalabayev, has been performing in the orchestra from this year too. He's a soloist and an oboist. I can say that he is Bashmet's favorite soloist because he is a reliable and trustworthy person. He often invites him to perform with the other team, the Moscow Soloists Chamber Orchestra.
Выступлениях с другим коллективом, солисты Москвы.
Юрий Абрамович, возможно, чувствует определенный контакт, может быть, и мы тоже.
Yury Abramovich probably feels that I can understand what he wants as a conductor. Feelings and emotions are essential for musicians. Your work with your conductor is a delicate matter. The conductor just looks at you and you start playing as he wants. And it happens often when during a concert, if you are successfully playing any solo and he shows that was great, I'm very delighted that he believes in us. The orchestra had more than 750 concerts in Russia and abroad since 2002. One more performance will be held the next day. We are now near our rehearsal hall. This is studio number 1. Soon the rehearsal will begin. The orchestra is above all the ability to listen and hear others. It's not enough to be a talented musician. You need to have a special ability to work in a team. This time, Italian conductor Luciano Acocella was invited to perform with the orchestra.
This concert is a concert with a big repertoire. The best repertoire I think you can do in symphonic, because it's very popular. Beethoven, Wagner, the 9th Symphony, Wagner Lohengrin, the 5th of Beethoven, 2 pieces arranged by the pianist, that's mean Furelisa, Perelisa, and the sonata Moonlight.
This is not the first visit of the Italian conductor to Moscow. His cooperation with the Novaya Rossiya State Symphony Orchestra resulted in dozens of concerts. As a conductor, Luciano Acocella has the opportunity to learn more about Yerik Shalabayev and his mastery.
I worked with him, I think, 2-3 times, because in this orchestra there are 2 oboists first, and they alternate. But this oboist is a very sensitive musician, a very good sound with his instrument, and very good attitude to phrasing.
Moscow, the Moscow International House of Music. The Novaya Rossiya State Symphony Orchestra's next concert is another performance that has not become a routine work that gathers hundreds of classical music fans. Behind the scenes, dozens of musicians are preparing for the concert. The time we have left is 15 minutes. The concert will begin soon. The 3rd bell rings. The magnificent scene of the Svetlanovsky Hall at the Moscow International House of Music is decorated with a unique instrument and one of the largest in Europe. The hall is waiting for the musicians. Traditionally, the entire symphony orchestra must tune according to the La note of the 1st octave, performed by oboe. The sweep of the conductor's baton and the musical whirlwind immerses the Moscow viewer into the world of classical music. Yerik Shalabayev was born in a small village in the Almaty region, the Beriktas village. When he was in 3rd grade, his elder brother's songs fascinated him. He lived in the capital and always came to the village to visit his relatives. He's the brother of the honored artist of Kazakhstan, Yerik Shalabayev. Now, Yerik Shalabayev performs dozens of concerts a year at the world's best venues. Colleagues and professionals were able to recognize his brightest talent and the potential to become a skilled ensemble member.
Как-то раз он мне привез пластинку Робертино Лоретти в подарок.
Once my brother Yerik Shalabayev brought me a record of Robertino Loretti as a gift. From that moment, I started to listen to music. It was just something unusual for me. I was a boy who lived in the village, and then I knew about Roberto Loretti. He wrote the words for me. I started to sing. I copied his manner of singing. Then he asked me, "Do you want to be a musician?" I said, "Yes, I want to be a singer." He said, "Well." Then he took me to the Ahmet Jubanov music school.
Он говорит, хорошо. И повез меня в музыкальную школу имени Ахмета Жубанова.
The choice of musical instruments is among the most important factors in determining the course of music education. He did not choose the oboe as his instrument by chance. The oboe embodies his childhood desire to sing. Oboe is a musical instrument that stands out among woodwind expressiveness and penetration of sound. That is why it is considered as more of a singing than a virtuoso instrument.
Это и есть трость. Без нее инструмент не играет.
Here it is a reed. The instrument does not play without it. This place is like human bones. The two halves vibrate, and due to this come the sound.
Идет звук. И этот звук, он как бы оформляется.
And the sound, it seems to be made inside the instrument. It is inserted here, and so on the output, you get a completely different tone.
На выходе получается абсолютно другой тембр. В баночке водичка. Так как это камыш,
There's a water in a can. When the reed is dry, it does not vibrate.
он вибрировать не будет.
Key signatures are vitally important in music. They determine the sound and mood of a piece. The style is also important. To be recognizable among thousands of others, this is a cherished dream for many performers.
Ну, я должен вам сказать, поскольку я Ерика знаю 20 лет.
Well, I have to tell you, because I know Yerik for 20 years and I monitor his progress for 20 years. He masters his craft constantly. He is highly professional and competent. He achieved good results in his career. You know, I can distinguish his playing among other musicians, and this is the right thing. The sound of the instrument and the performance of the soloist are his business card. For example, I can recognize Erik's playing among the oboists.
Поставить 10 габаистов, я обязательно Ерика узнаю. Обязательно.
The creative life of each musician originates from the first concert. From the moment he had the opportunity to go on stage, plunging into the world of the sound of an oboe, it reminds him of his childhood dream to sing. However, it became clear that he is destined to be a musician. He has finally found his calling.
Сыграл концерт первый. Это что-то интересное, потому что ты играешь.
After the first concert, I realized that playing the instrument seemed to be interesting. You play, the orchestra sits behind you, which gives such a flow of energy. It just fills your whole inner world. You stand alone on stage, and the whole orchestra, the conductor, and the hall are behind you, the hall full of people. This feeling of excitement probably was also a very important factor why I went along this path, because everyday life is rather boring. Every performance is something new. The search for the resonance of an oboe is something special. I'm always happy and delighted to perform on the stage like I am doing it for the first time. These emotions are incredible.
Поиск тембра гобоя – это что-то особенное.
After graduation from the Ahmet Jubanov Music School, Yerik continued his studies in the class of honored artists of Kazakh SSR and professor Timur Tekishev at the Kurmangazi Almaty State Conservatory. After a year of training at the conservatory, he transferred to the State Musical Pedagogical Institute, named after Ippolitov Ivanov. He studied in the oboe class of Professor Anatoly Lyubimый.
Потому что мой профессор тоже, и Габдулина Игуль Кайжановна, и Тимир Ткишев, Тимир Габдулинович Ткишев тоже закончили.
Moscow is considered as the center of culture, theatrical art, and literature. My professors, Aygul Karyzhanovna Gabdulina and Timir Gabdulinovich Tekishev, also graduated from the Gnesin Russian Academy of Music. I also had a dream to follow their example, and he told me, Yerik, if you stay in Almaty, you will achieve a lot. I'll give you everything that I can. I'll teach you. But his phrase that I should go far beyond captured me so much.
Он сказал так: Ерик, ты должен вариться в другом котле.
After a year of study at the State Musical Pedagogical Institute, named after Ippolitov Ivanov, Yerik continues to fulfill his dream. He passed the entrance exams to the Gnestin Russian Academy of Music. He successfully graduated from the academy in 2004.
Как-то мы играли концерт, посвященный.
Once we held a concert dedicated to Ippolitov Ivanov's 80th anniversary. I performed Pasculis' Variations. I had a solo performance at the large hall of the conservatory. Anatoly Sergeyevich Lyubimov said, "Yerik, I spent my whole life on the stage, and I wish you will also spend your life on the stage. You have to work hard and study well."
Надо только заниматься.
In addition to his studies, Yerik was pursuing his career goals. He worked at the Yevgeny Kolobov Novaya Opera Theatre of Moscow, one of the youngest musical theatres in Russia, from 1999 to 2002. He received a job offer after the memorable anniversary concert at the Great Hall of the Conservatory. His desire to escape from everyday life and to widen his experience has led him to take part in an audition for the vacant oboist position in the Novaya Rossiya State Symphony Orchestra under the leadership of Yuri Bashmet in 2002. As a result, he became a soloist of the orchestra. In addition to working in the famous orchestra, Yerik performs in the Moscow Soloists' Chamber Orchestra that is also led by Yuri Abramovich.
В прошлом году камерному ансамблю солисты Москвы под руководством
Last year, the Moscow Soloists' Chamber Orchestra, under the leadership of Yuri Bashmet, turned a quarter century. Thank God the audience is waiting for our concerts all over the world. This is a great honor and responsibility for us. We feel responsibility in every note we play. The choice of musicians who perform in the orchestra is also essential. In this sense, Yerik Shalabayev is no exception.
Yerik Shalabayev не исключение.
We met with director of the ensemble, Roman Balashov, at the Bashmet Center. It's a unique multicultural space that combines music, art, communication, and learning.
15 лет с нами, это были очень плодотворные годы. Его звук всегда можно узнать.
We have been working with Yerik Shalabayev for 15 years. These were years of fruitful cooperation. His playing can always be recognized among other numerous oboists. He was the best soloist during the audition. He performed with Yuri Bashmet at the world's best venues. As for Yerik's remarkable personality, every concert is not a routine for him. He always masters his skills. He's ready for improvisation on the stage. He's full of initiatives. He really enjoys his work. We find him easy to work with. He always offers new solutions. His productivity and persistence are amazing. It turns out that he is the perfect first oboist for us, and we are very happy to have him in our team.
Вот получается, что он оказался для нас идеальным первым губоистом, и мы очень рады, что он с нами.
Despite positive feedback from colleagues, spectators, and management, Yerik does not stop in his creative development. He won the second prize at the All-Russian competition for ensembles of wind and percussion instruments in Kazan in 2004, but he still sets new goals to achieve. Despite the fact that the musician spends most of his time in Moscow, Yerik tries to return to his homeland, Kazakhstan, as often as possible.
Есть такой скрипач Арман Мурзагалиев. Он сейчас устраивает каждый год.
Kazakh violinist Arman Mirzagaliev organizes the wonderful festival entitled Forte Music Fest every year. Somehow, I managed to feel like a part of something new when I performed at the festival. There was an evening dedicated to the memory of Batyrkhan Shukenov. We performed Bach's concert for oboe and violin with orchestra with Arman. This was an incredible experience.
Концерт Баха для скрипки и гобоя с оркестром.
Recently, the musician finds inspiration in the national art.
По телевидению показывали передачу про Казахстан. И там показали одного.
There was a program about Kazakhstan on TV. An artisan who makes the Kazakh national instrument dombra took his instrument and started to play. Just imagine, I did not expect it from myself. Step, the smell of wormwood, horses, birds singing, all went before my eyes. I started to cry. It was so strange. Now when I listen to the sound of dombra, I feel like my soul vibrates. I feel it within my heart. I am seized with indescribable emotions.
Звук тамбры, оно именно капает. Именно в ту точку души, которая у тебя начинает вибрировать.
The sunlight makes its way through the large stained glass windows of the Bashmet Center. An oboe with a brilliant penetrating tone is heard, one of the most ancient musical instruments played by ancient Egyptians and Greeks. The oboe entered the Guinness Book of Records as the most difficult instrument to play in the orchestra at the end of the 20th century. The double reed mechanism produces the amazing sound that captures the attention of listeners of different ages. To play the instrument is a quality inherent only to a great soloist.